Welcome back, gamers, to more Higurashi. It's been 3 weeks. Yes, about. And I think last we left off, freaking torture happened. Actual torture. Like, Shion got her freaking fingernails ripped off. That's the last we left off. That's what happened. Then, like, the aftermath of it, you know? But we're apparently not even halfway through this. Apparently. So, we'll see. We'll see how far we can get through today. Chapter 7. You know, saving in different slots doesn't even matter, does it? There's no decisions to be made. Are there? Not even. But, even though. Sad music. I want to just check out the tips. Right, it's all the notebooks and stuff. I remember. Alright. Eh? What are we eh-ing about? What did you just say? This is information from a reliable source. It appears that they found the murderer of Satoshi-kun's aunt. Had to have been a few weeks since the murder. Satoshi-kun still hadn't been found. I had no new information on his whereabouts. Gasai's report came, as a result, completely out of the blue. Does that mean the police arrested the culprit? Seems that he confessed during his interrogation regarding another case. That sounded strange. If it was Satoshi-kun they arrested, he wouldn't have worded it that way. Sounded as though Satoshi-kun wasn't the culprit. Gasai, who's the culprit? So it wasn't Satoshi-kun? I swallowed those final words. I was convinced it was Satoshi-kun. The police in Oishi must have thought the same way. The reason Oishi approached me is because he was convinced that Satoshi-kun did it. Don't worry. Doesn't seem like it's Satoshi-kun. I heard it was a lunatic who was aiming to continue the series of mysterious deaths. What? A lunatic? What do you mean? Gasai shrugged. Eh? I don't know. Since the investigation is classified as a confidential case, the information I can get is limited. Confidential? Why? Prevent the village from developing a bad reputation. You don't see articles about kidnapping while the police are negotiating with the culprit, do you? Something similar to that. Come to think of it, I hadn't seen anything about the aunt's murder on TV or in the newspaper. These strange deaths have happened 4 years in a row now, on the day of Watanagashi. There are those who try to make light of it, and now this lunatic who confessed to the aunt's murder said he did it in an imitation of the series of mysterious deaths. The butler did it. Butlers don't even exist in this world. Not even. Guess I didn't know anything else, so instead of probing him further, I reviewed the information myself. I was really shocked to learn all this. I was convinced that Satoshi-kun killed her. I thought that was the reason he had to disappear. But it was actually some lunatic who killed her, and he had no relation to the aunt whatsoever? So Satoshi-kun had nothing to do with the murder? If so, why did he disappear? Couldn't accept that this lunatic had killed the aunt. What's really strange is the phrase Kasai used, 4 years in a row now. After all, I had been thinking that this murder happened because Satoshi-kun had been in a dire situation. It had nothing to do with the series of mysterious deaths. What? Hold on. No. There's no way. Like, how? Okay, so you thought that the murder happened because Satoshi was in a dire situation. Had nothing to do with the series of mysterious deaths. How? How could she think this had nothing to do with the series of mysterious deaths? It was on the same day. It was in the sequence of events 4 years in a row. Like, come on. Don't be dumb. The series of mysterious deaths in Himizawa is also known as the Curse of Oyashiro-sama. Satoshi-kun's case had become one of those mysterious deaths. In other words, Satoshi-kun's case had become part of Oyashiro-sama's curse. More focused on Satoshi than the other stuff. I guess, yeah. He's like, no. She's like, no, Satoshi. They're doing it because Satoshi's bad, not because it's a part of a whole chain of events. I didn't like the way that sounded. Because it was as though the curse had swallowed Satoshi-kun. Where are we going now? Ah, Oishi! Unfortunately, we haven't been able to confirm the tip that Satoshi-kun took a train to Tokyo. We don't even know whether or not he's in this prefecture, to be honest. Oishi broke the seal on a new can of instant coffee. I thought you knew his whereabouts already, since you seemed very convinced he was the culprit. Oh. Wait, I thought he already knew his whereabouts already, blah 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 blah. No, you got me. Oishi chuckled and poured a cup of coffee, which looked far too hot. You have some good sources. Huh? It's a highly classified case, but you already have this information. I wonder who leaked it. Looks like we need to review our security precautions. Oishi smirked. Seemed he knew why I was here today. Are we Shion? We're Shion, right? Ah, I'm one of the Sonozakis after all. My ears are open. Smirked back at him. It's all about bluffing. Anyway, since we're friends now, why don't we have a chat? Oh wait, since we're friends now, why don't we have a chat? Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo. Let me ask you first. Who's this real culprit? Heard he was a lunatic, but what does that mean? I don't know how to answer that question. I want to know the answer myself. Really, I was convinced Satoshi-kun was the real culprit. It was rather surprising for me too. Oishi threw himself on the sofa and crossed his hands behind his head. He looked up at the ceiling and smiled wryly. I suddenly received a call from the prefectural police the other day. They said that one of the guys in detention confessed to the murder of the housewife. Who is it? He's a crazy dopehead. He's been in and out of prison for drug abuse. His statement says that he was interested in the series of mysterious deaths and wanted to imitate them. Are you sure he's the real culprit? I didn't interrogate him myself, but the prefectural police tells me that he has information that only the real culprit would know. Seems to have thrown the murder weapon into the Oji River. They're searching for it right now. If it's found, his statement will be solid. Even if the weapon wasn't found, would the case be closed? Probably. His statement clearly outlines the state of the crime scene and the body. This information, like I said, covers details that only the actual murderer would know. Real? Real or fake? I don't know. You don't seem quite convinced. Oishi, still looking up at the ceiling, went quiet. As a matter of fact, the dopehead was already dead by the time I got their call. Dead? You know those spoons that are forked at the tip? You sporks? There's a name for those. They use those at the detention facility. I was told he swallowed one and choked on it. They couldn't tell if it was suicide or if it was caused by some mental disorder. I imagine somebody swallowing that spoon and gagged. Shanked? Oh. No, he just choked on a spork, I guess. So, the investigation hadn't been done that thoroughly. But although I'm not convinced, my superiors are. I think with that, the case will be closed. Oishi turned his eyes from the ceiling to me. He looked serious. This is just what I personally feel, okay? So please keep it between the two of us. I believe that this lunatic is some kind of mistake. Might be either a big misunderstanding caused by a chain of coincidences, or, you know. Yeah, I know. I have no idea what you're talking about. Yeah, feign ignorance, Shion, that's a great idea. I still believe that the real culprit is Satoshi Hojo-kun. You sound confident. Unfortunately, we couldn't find anything to prove he was at the crime scene. We obtained a warrant to search his house after he disappeared. We still found nothing. But you still believe he did it? Yes. Wonder how you can be so sure even though you don't have any evidence. It's incredible. Is that supposed to be like the hunch of an experienced detective? Yep. It's the hunch of a guy who's been in this business for several decades. Oishi smiled in satisfaction, but I didn't feel relieved. Where did Satoshi-kun go? His disappearance convinced me that he was the culprit. If he wasn't the culprit, there'd be no real reason for him to disappear. What if the murder actually was done by that lunatic and Satoshi-kun's disappearance had nothing to do with it? In other words, what if Satoshi-kun disappeared because the Sonozaki family didn't like my relationship with him, and he has nothing to do with the murder? Yeah, that's actually true, but I really believe that he did it, you know? I don't feel like there's, like, nah, he had to have done it just because of the parallels with Keiichi, you know? Was Satoshi-kun a culprit or a victim? Or both? The reason for his disappearance had become unclear. I don't think they'd bother to make one person disappear just because of an undesirable relationship. You'd be surprised. What do you hear from inside the Sonozaki family? Do you know anything? I wouldn't be here if I did. You're right. Oishi laughed out loud while scratching his head. And after he stopped laughing, he leaned over. Alright, how about this? Why don't we make a deal? A gentleman's deal. A deal? On what? On information about Satoshi-kun's disappearance. If you find any information like that, you tell me. And I'll also provide you with information if I find any. Do we have a deal? Sounds too convenient for you. Oishi chuckled. Shion-san, I think if we leave things as they are, they'll conclude that the lunatic committed the murder. If that happens, Satoshi-kun's disappearance will be treated just as another runaway minor. They won't search for him as actively as before. Yeah. Make Satoshi guilty so they can try to find him, right? But I will continue searching for him. Only I will do it. I believe you're intending to do the same. Our motives are different, though. I just want to know if he's safe, but you'd like to arrest him, wouldn't you? If the murder case was considered solved, Satoshi-kun would be free, regardless of his innocence. I doubt that. No. Oishi chuckled again, but his smile didn't reach his eyes. Well, let's be friends from now on. The enemy of your enemy is your friend, no? I'm not opposed to the Sonozaki family, though. Oh, really? I apologize, then. This is the way of Kurauda Oishi, huh? As Sis and Kasai said, I wouldn't want him as my enemy or my ally, because both would be too risky. Probably shouldn't let my guard down in front of this big fat weasel. Weasel! Yay, friendship, right? I sipped on the coffee to fill up the silence, though I wasn't thirsty. Outside the window, I could see normal life taking its course. But Satoshi-kun wasn't there. Should have been there, but he wasn't. I was scared that I might grow used to his absence someday. Where was he? I wonder how Satoshi-kun is doing. I hope he's alright. I know you think he might be dead. Don't patronize me. Do you know what people are calling his disappearance in Himizawa? Huh? They say that he was demoned away. To be demoned away means the same thing as being spirited away. It's part of the local dialect. He was kidnapped and taken to hell through the bottom of the Onagafushi swamp. That's ridiculous. Oh, that's ridiculous. Anyway, the series of mysterious deaths has struck for the 4th time. It's too soon, but people are already talking about next year. Oh, wonderful. Are you saying that the murder was a result of Yashida-sama's curse? The victim was one of the HEWWOs, after all. She was involved in the dam conflict, though indirectly. Really, it's not surprising that some people take an interest in the incidents, because they do always happen on the day of Otsunagashi. That's ridiculous, too. Yashida-sama's curse? Though I said that, I couldn't quite wipe away the fear from my mind. Why did Satoshi-kun disappear? Was it the Sonozaki family? Did he run away from the police? Did he really kill his aunt in the first place? Why did he even disappear? He's on his own. Oyashiro-sama's curse has nothing to do with it. But... That's strange. Satoshi-kun and Oyashiro-sama's curse. Somebody once mentioned those two together before. When did I hear that? I don't remember even. Ah, that's right. That rainy day. It was Ryugu who told me that when we were taking shelter in that shack. Ah. Remember the creepy story she told me at that time. Satoshi-kun wants to leave Hinamizawa and run far away. Even if only unconsciously. That's what Ryugu said. And that want, even subconsciously, makes him a target. Rena definitely pointed out that Satoshi-kun wanted to leave Hinamizawa at that time. She also said, everything he's going through is a sign of Oyashiro-sama's curse. She said that, for sure. She had definitely mentioned Oyashiro-sama's curse. The series of mysterious deaths had struck 4 times. Was Satoshi-kun being controlled by the curse? Is that why he killed his aunt and was demoned away? No way. That can't be true. Satoshi-kun's smile faded away in my mind. Satoshi-kun disappeared. Not only that, the reason for his disappearance also disappeared. It must have been done by a human being. I can't accept that he was demoned away. Notebook, page 43. Dang. Why we get a notebook in the middle of a chapter? Alright. I forgot Rena had a creepy moment. I wonder if it'll just be Shion's investigation for the rest of the chapter or not. I moved from one chair to another because the air conditioning was too cold. I moved with my notebook, my pen case with a bunch of keychains, and my cup of milk tea. I did it all in one go. Sat down in a new chair, then opened my notebook again. I scribbled my thoughts and sank into silence. A series of mysterious deaths, dubbed The Curse of Oyashiro-sama. I've been viewing each incident as a separate case, even though it was followed by another one. I've never looked at all the cases apart as one big scheme. After I wrote down all the incidents on paper, it became clear to me that all of them served the same agenda. I wrote down the victims. First year, the construction site manager. Second year, Satoshi-kun's parents. Third year, the priest. Fourth year, Satoshi-kun's aunt. For the fourth year, one could consider Satoshi-kun himself to be the victim rather than his aunt. If I consider that each case arose from the grudge over that dam conflict, it's quite simple. In the first year, the construction manager was killed because he was a symbol of the dam construction itself. Of course, the real enemy was the Ministry of Construction, but it wasn't as clear a target. That manager, on the other hand, had been aggressively shouting back at the villagers, so he was a more appropriate enemy to attack. If Oyashiro-sama had really cursed someone, it would have been the officials from the ministry. It's apparent that the target was selected based on the villagers' preference. The second year, the accidental death of Satoshi-kun's parents. It said that they fell from a cliff in some park, but it's doubtful that it was really an accident. His parents were labeled as traitors to the village because they sided with the dam construction, even though they were also from Hinamizawa. The HEWWO family was ostracized during the dam conflict in order to prevent a further pro-dam activists from rising up. That means that the HEWWOs were necessary during the conflict to play the role of the traitor. So when the conflict was over, they no longer served any purpose. The construction site manager was a symbol of the external enemy. The HEWWos were a symbol of the internal enemy. Those people fell victim to the curse. It seemed that the grudge over the dam conflict had ended. Yet those incidents were followed by another one. The third year. The leader of one of the three families, the priest Furude, suddenly died of an illness with an unknown cause. His wife drowned herself on the same night. She seemed to have left a note that said she was sacrificing herself to pacify Oyashiro-sama's anger. Whether it was a fatal disease or suicide, their deaths looked suspicious. We even admitted that the Sonozaki family didn't like the priest's attitude. They didn't like how the priest had been generous toward the pro-dam activists. The priest wasn't quite a traitor, but he was certainly uncooperative. Looking at these incidents, I realized that the curse was performed based on the degree of hostility. Enemy, traitor, and dissident. Dissident, a word that I do not know. This meant that the curse was actually payment. It was a punishment for the criminals of war. In the 4th year, I didn't understand this case at first, to be honest. At first, I believed it was that this case was separate from the other ones, even though it occurred on the same day. I never thought there would be any relation to the other 3. When I wrote it down and looked at it objectively, the victim is a relative of a traitor. After enemy, traitor, and dissident, relative of a traitor doesn't sound too odd. It comes naturally as a 4th target. On the day the villagers worship Oyashiro-sama, their guardian deity, the criminals of the dam conflict have been punished by the curse. Just like how I was forced to pay at the Sonozaki house, the criminals were made to pay as well. After writing these things out, I started thinking that the 4th incident might be in line with the series of mysterious deaths after all. Whether it was Satoshi-kun or the dope head, it seemed that they were forced to play the role of the murderer as a part of a bigger scenario. Even if Satoshi-kun was the real culprit, even if he killed his aunt because of an ordinary grudge, the murder seems synchronized with the grand scheme of the series of mysterious deaths in Hinamizawa, which is a payment plan for the war criminals. That murder was the result of his pain. But what if somebody planned that as part of a scenario? For instance, somebody might have suggested to him to kill his aunt on that day, that night, in that place. I had no doubts that Satoshi-kun decided to kill her in order to protect Satoko. But did he really reach that conclusion on his own? Satoshi-kun was optimistic and somewhat detached as far as I know. Would he really have considered murdering his aunt, even if it was to protect his sister? Couldn't it be possible for somebody to have chosen the aunt as the 4th year's murder beforehand? And they used Satoshi-kun? And Satoshi-kun was eliminated because of his connection with them? Looking at it that way, the murder of the 1st year resembles this case. The main culprit behind the case hadn't been found yet, dead or alive. The other culprits testified that their fight had turned into a slaughter. But wouldn't it be possible that the main culprit had manipulated the situation? What if he had been told to kill someone on that day, and that time, in that place? I'm certain. First murder resembles Satoshi-kun's case very much. So, did that mean Satoshi-kun was being controlled by somebody else? Oishi had presented me with the hypothesis that the Sonozaki family made Satoshi-kun disappear in order to end my relationship with the murderer. When I read the notes I wrote down, his disappearance didn't seem too spontaneous. It seemed like it was part of a bigger plan. Since I had unexpectedly gotten involved in that plan, I had to be separated from him. Then Satoshi-kun was demoned away, as planned. At first, I also believed that the Sonozaki family made him disappear because they didn't like that I was in love with a member of a family of traitors. Something didn't add up. Something felt strange. I wasn't the reason for his disappearance at all. After all, even if I never met him in the first place, Satoshi-kun was supposed to kill his aunt in June 1982 and then disappear. At one point, I had been thinking of taking revenge on the hag. I'd believed that she separated us. What if my relationship with Satoshi-kun had nothing to do with his disappearance? What would that mean? Who made Satoshi-kun disappear? I need to understand the series of mysterious deaths in order to solve this mystery. What did all these deaths mean? Who was behind them, and what purpose did they serve? I wanted to know the purpose, the motive, and who was responsible. Who took Satoshi-kun? I want to know if he was still alive. The series of mysterious deaths in Hinamizawa is also called Oyashiro-sama's curse. What is that curse? Specifically, what kind of god is Oyashiro-sama? What blessings does he bring, and what punishments does he dole out? I wrote down my thoughts in the notebook. What's Oyashiro-sama? What is he? I scribbled these things down. I was so absorbed by it that I didn't realize somebody had been standing behind me, watching me the whole time. Ugh! Rena? I'm gonna stop myself from gasping when I realized that. Ah, Takano. I'm sorry, did I startle you? Hee. The intelligent-looking woman giggled. No, I was just a bit surprised. Sorry about that. She could have apologized a little better, too, since she'd been watching me from behind. But she just stared at my face instead. Are you Shion Sonozaki-san? You must know sis since you know my name, but I don't know who you are. Being twins is a pain sometimes. People you've never met before can tell exactly who you are. Hehe, I'm sorry. Sonozaki-san I know would never be seen in a library, so I assumed that you were her twin sister. The woman giggled again. Well, you were right. I'm Shion Sonozaki. Nice to meet you. May I ask your name? Oh, I'm sorry. I should have introduced myself first. She seemed to love her own hair because she kept running her fingers through it boastfully. I'm Mio Takano. You can call me Mio, Shion-san. Shion-chan. Nice to meet you, Takano-san. Her condescending attitude bugged me. I hate meeting people like that. Closed my notebook and got ready to leave the desk. How would she die horribly this chapter? Well, she won't, because it's a year before she's supposed to die. You know? She dies the next year with Keiichi and all them. Well, not saying Keiichi died, but you know. Oh, are you upset? Thank you for your concern. I like to be alone when thinking, so I'm moving to another spot. Excuse me. That's a shame. I thought we'd be good friends. Did you? I don't think so. I'm being honest. I finally met someone with the same passion. A fellow researcher of Oyashiro-sama's curse. I think it's quite unusual to meet someone like that. She saw my notes! My face reddened. These are just theories. It's all nonsense. Just childish scribbles. The series of mysterious deaths is also known as Yashiro-sama's curse. Though each death is an independent incident, all of them clearly share the same purpose. Each year, someone dies of the curse. Someone else is sacrificed and disappears. What? What? What are you saying all of a sudden? Someone dies and someone else... What? I was taken aback by her weird spiel. But I realized right away that she said something extraordinary. How has Shion not figured that out yet? Has she not figured this out yet? That someone dies and someone disappears. Didn't you notice that the number of victims is always even? Haven't you realized that yet? The number of victims is always even? I was confused, but I tried to figure out what that meant. The damn construction site manager died in the first year. There was only one victim. The second year, the victims were the parents of Satoshi-kun, so it was 2 people. In the third year, it was the priest, and if her death was also planned, his wife, 2 again. And in this year, the 4th year, Satoshi-kun's aunt died and Satoshi-kun went missing. If Satoshi-kun's disappearance was planned, the number of victims was 2. It's true. Except for the first one, the victims always came in an even number, 2. Wait. I just concluded myself that the first case resembled the 4th one. The main culprit was still missing. He might so have been demoned away just like Satoshi-kun. Which makes the victims 2! See? Doesn't it make sense now? Takano-san sounded like a teacher had showed me how to solve a difficult math problem. I wasn't quite convinced, but I couldn't deny what she'd said either. Did I give you enough hints? I really would have enjoyed a conversation with you, but I think you prefer being alone. Hee. I'm sorry that I wasn't respectful, Mio-san. Please call me Shion. She seemed content that I changed my attitude. She kept giggling for a while. She didn't seem that reliable. I didn't want to be acquainted with her for too long. But I don't get to talk to people very much. And what she said interested me. Let me introduce myself again. I'm Mio Takano. Call me Mio. Pleased to meet you, Mio-san. I'm Shion Sonozaki, Mion's twin sister. Please call me Shion. Took the hand that Mio-san held out as a sign of reconciliation. Please tell me more. You said that there were always 2 victims? One dies due to the curse and the other one is a sacrifice? Shion-chan, before we get into that, would you tell me why you became interested in this? She leaned over and looked into my eyes. It was kind of uncomfortable. Mio-san, how much do you know about me? I guess you have an idea if you know my name. I don't know much. Just that you recently returned from a boarding school. I see. So I think you can imagine that I want to know about the series of mysterious deaths that happened while I was away. I'm just curious. I see. You're curious, eh? Got the impression that she knew about what happened to Satoshi-kun and me, because she instantly recognized me as Shion, not Mion. I didn't know why I thought that way. She shouldn't have access the sources that... Oh, what? She shouldn't have access the sources that, for instance, Oishi does. Have access to the sources that, for instance, Oishi does. Okay, yeah, it's missing a heckin' word, but thought I was going crazy. It was just the look in her eyes that made me think that way. Let me ask you a question this time. You called me a fellow researcher of Oyashiro-sama's curse, didn't you? So are you researching the curse? You also stated that there's always an even number of victims in the mysterious deaths. It's true that Hinamizawa's mysterious deaths are often called Oyashiro-sama's curse. But why would you delve into the mysterious deaths if you're researching the curse itself? Shion-chan, you're asking too many questions at once. I can't tell you what you really want to know. Oh, I couldn't say anything in return. Maybe I'd been too inquisitive. I'll answer your questions one by one. I'm not just researching the curse, so my subject is much broader than that. I'm researching the history of Onigafichi village. In plain terms, I'm researching the dark and ancient history of Hinamizawa. Onigafichi village? Isn't Onigafichi the bottomless swamp that people believe is connected to hell? What dark history? Kept asking questions. Mio-san, however, looked pleased to hear them. Onigafichi village is the old name for Hinamizawa, as it was known back before the Meiji era. About the dark history, you know a little bit about the man-eating demons, I assume. Ah, man-eating demons, huh? That was a fairy tale told in Hinamizawa. Long time ago, demons came out of the swamp, and while the villagers were battled with them, they ended up living peacefully together. Villagers transcended and became the sacred people, having demon blood in their veins. That long-forgotten fairy tale came back to my mind vividly. Ah, the horrors, yes. Right, that's kind of what it sounded like. You know this story because you're a villager, of course. What about the story of the cannibal banquet? Huh? What's that? You know that the villagers have the blood of man-eating demons in their veins, don't you? Yeah, I think I've heard of it. I dodged the question. Hinamizawa used to be a desolate village, but it grew in prominence after the Second World War, and expanded its influence to Okinomiya and other areas. People who disliked and discriminated against the villagers called us man-eating demons. I remember that. The young villagers don't take it seriously, but the older people can get seriously upset about it. I certainly can't take it as a joke. So the term man-eating demons was forbidden. We normally never use it. Even during my rebellious phase, I never spoke those words. Mio-san, however, seemed to have no qualms with saying it out loud. Are you upset? About what? I know people hate that phrase in Hinamizawa. I apologize if it made you feel uncomfortable. The old people wouldn't like it, but I'm fine. Would you continue? Thanks. Okay, so, the ancient villagers had a custom of cannibalism. They ritualized this custom and held various ceremonies based around it. The festival we hold in June isn't just an early summer festival. It used to be a banquet in which the villagers chased after a sacrifice and ate them. They bound the sacrifice to a table, gutted them, and dumped the organs into a river. Wara can mean cotton, but it also means organs. That's the root of the word watanagashi. Organ drifting? Watanagashi? Indeed. I believe they started using futon mats to cover it up around the Meiji era, according to my research. They wouldn't be able to do that openly nowadays. Everything Mion-san was talking about sounded startling. I was just taken aback. Couldn't wholly believe it right away. She sensed that from my expression. It's not a hoax. I didn't make any of this up. If you promise not to tell anyone, I can show you my notes on Watanagashi. Mio-san took out a notebook from her bag and flipped through it. She appeared to be doing her research thoroughly. Thank you. I'd love to read it. Sure. I'd like to keep it confidential. Hehe, but I guess I should share it with my fellow researcher. Mio-san handed me the notebook a bit hesitantly. It looked like it'd take a whole night to finish reading. It was densely packed with information. Saw copies of various documents and quotes in there too. It wasn't just some delusion of hers. You told me that one person dies because of the curse, and another person is sacrificed and disappears, right? Person is sacrificed and disappears. Satoshi-kun had gone missing. Did he become a sacrifice? What is a sacrifice anyway? Mio-san looked pleased to hear my questions again. Took out another notebook and handed it to me. Think you'll understand once you read it, but I'll give you a digest version. Oyashiro-sama's curse is simply Oyashiro-sama's anger. In other words, the curse is caused by Oyashiro-sama's anger. Do you follow? Yes. You're saying that Oyashiro-sama was mad at the people who opposed the village during the dam conflict, and that's why the curse occurred. That's right. Oyashiro-sama's anger has to be pacified. If not, something even worse will occur. So, all the successive priests at Furude Shrine had to perform a sacrifice every time the curse struck, in order to pacify Oyashiro-sama. It's called a sacrificial ritual. So, each year on the day of Watanagashi, one person dies because of the curse, and another one is sacrificed to pacify Oyashiro-sama's anger. But only one person is actually murdered each time. Never heard of human sacrifices being made? Naturally, there's no body. The ritual of sacrifice requires the offering be sunk into Onagafuji swamp. That swamp is bottomless, and no one would ever surface once they were thrown in there. No body would ever be found, of course. Buenos dias, vamps. Buenos dias. Yeah, good day. Right? Yeah, I know words. Things. Oh, stretch. Oh. Get swamped. I know, right? Throwing the freaking flashback to chapter 3, throwing the motorcycle into the swamp just caused a horrible poisonous gas to kill everyone in the entire village. But throwing bodies in there every year is fine, I guess. Does that mean Satoshi-kun is also at the bottom of that dark green swamp? I don't know. I'm not sure that they really throw them into the swamp. But those who make these incidents happen must be eliminating one person based on that legend. Each year, a traitor to the village dies on the day of Watanagashi because of Oyashiro-sama's curse. And another person is sacrificed in order to pacify Oyashiro-sama's anger. That person's body will never be found, because he or she is supposedly thrown into the bottomless swamp. Yes, you get it. The series of mysterious deaths always involves both the curse and the sacrifice. It's a system that allows 2 traitors to die every year. What I'm telling you now probably isn't sufficient, so it might be hard to grasp. Instead, I want you to take the time to read my notes. You'll see what I'm telling you isn't far off from the truth at all. Heard a man's voice just then. A middle-aged man with a hat was waving at Mio-san from the entrance. Sorry, I think I have to go. I wanted to talk with you more. But I guess we'll have another chance. To chat. I'll leave those notes to you. I'm looking forward to hearing your opinions. Why would Mio trust her to have her notes for multiple days? Or for a day? I don't know. Mio-san wrapped up the conversation and headed to where the man was waiting for her. She left her old notebooks in my hands. Mio-san waved at me as she left the library with her companion. I took a seat again and opened what she'd given me. What bugged me was the series of mysterious deaths, also known as the curse of Oyashiro-sama. Maybe I'd be able to get closer to the truth by reading these notebooks. If I studied them carefully, I'd be able to find out who was really behind the incidents. Why did Satoshi-kun have to disappear? What was he involved in? How did that happen? Maybe Takano's notes would bring me the answer. Research notes, Mio Takano. I started flipping the pages, this time making sure that no one was watching over my shoulder. What? Okay, it's just taking a while. It was time for the library to close. I had to leave. Bought some food on my way home. Shut my door and locked it right away. Then I heard the door of the neighbor's apartment open. Gasai lived next door. Nobody else lived on this floor of a nearly empty apartment building anyway. I clearly heard the door open and close. Guess I must have noticed I came home and was coming over because he wanted to talk to me. I locked the door and shouted out to him. It's not gonna be Kasai, is it? Is that you, Kasai? I'll leave the door unlocked for you. I'm not Kasai-san, Shion. That voice. Who is it? I twitched. Can I come in? Is it Rena? No. Sure, sis. Oh, yeah, okay, it's Mion. The door slowly opened. My alter ego, Mion Sonozaki, appeared. She was holding a box of cake, while smiling timidly. Are you gonna keep standing there until I escort you? Come in. Sorry this room doesn't look very cute. It looks comfortable. Sis looked a bit tense when entering my room. It was her first time here. How's life? My new school is as boring as I thought it would be. I usually go, but I skip classes when I don't feel up to it. I couldn't do that when I was going to St. Lucia's. So St. Lucia's was really tough, huh? You should go there sometime. Sorry. I brought cake. Let's eat. We can open the box. I saw 2 cheesecakes in there. 2 cheesecakes! I assumed she means slices, right? Not 2 entire cheesecakes. We have the same taste in food, so we don't have to fight if we get 2 of the same thing. I chatted with her over the cheesecake. I talked to her about school and whatnot. If you need furniture, tell me. I may be able to get some for you. I finally got used to this room, but I might move out soon, so furniture won't be necessary. Thanks, though. Dad wants me to come back home. I don't want to live with him, but he sounds desperate. He'd be pleased if you came home. He looked lonely while you were gone. You can only say that because you don't have to live with him. Come to think of it, this was the first time I talked to Sis since I was allowed to live as Shion Sonozaki. She didn't look like how she was at the Sonozaki house that day. The successor of the Sonozaki family and my twin sister are 2 different people. The demon lives inside the leader of the Sonozakis. Our bodies are exactly the same, except for the tattoo of a demon on her back. Mion's destiny as the successor was set in stone when she got that tattoo. It's pretty simple. The Mion from that night was different from the Mion before me. When I was forced to tear off my fingernails, I had momentarily despised her. But if I were the next leader of the family, I'd have done the same. Nah. I don't think so. I wouldn't. I don't think I would. I would say, screw it, I'm leaving. You know? I wouldn't deal with that at all. But, yes, two hecking cheesecakes. Dude, I can only have one slice of a cheesecake and I'm done. Not 2 entire cheesecakes, that'll last me a month. Shion, how are your fingernails? The wounds have closed. I don't bandage them anymore because it looks too conspicuous. But my nails still look ugly, so I don't like showing them to people. I sneered at her, displaying my incomplete fingernails. Moon grew quiet and looked down. You don't have to apologize. You did what you had to do. You just played the role of the successor, not holding any grudges. I'm sorry. Okay, apology accepted. But you apologize one more time, that'll be cancelled. I won't forgive you for the rest of my life. Huh? What do you mean? Once you start apologizing, you never stop, so I'm cutting you off. Will you really forgive me? About Satoshi-kun as well? What do you mean about Satoshi-kun? Meaning she'd made him disappear? Openly admitting it at that point? My heart ached when she mentioned his name. It felt just like the ache of an old wound. I figured he loved him. No wonder. I shouted out loud in front of all of you. I'm not embarrassed anymore. Granny truly believed you've atoned. She thinks you've done all you needed to do. So the matter is finished. That's good. My pain won't go to waste then. I wonder where Satoshi-kun disappeared to, though. I started choking when I heard her say that. I just said it to her myself. I said that I'd forgiven her completely. But that promise instantly evaporated. Just because of what she said. I felt like I'd turned into a completely different person. What did you just say, Mion? Did you just say, I wonder where Satoshi-kun disappeared to? Who else would know other than you and your folks? What did you say? Where did he go? Felt my eyeballs reddening in anger. Felt as though they were about to pop. Choked on a burning sensation in my throat. Moon's expression rapidly changed. Oh no. Looked like she noticed the devil's mask on my face. We were one and the same. We could understand each other's thoughts without voicing them. So showing our expressions was like unveiling everything in our hearts to the other. Sorry. Even though I told her not to apologize anymore, Mion apologized. Felt like strangling her. I was going to make her confess where she hid Satoshi-kun. If she told me she threw him into Onigashima Swamp, I'd strangle her to death right then and there. I really don't know what happened to Satoshi-kun. That's a lie. It's true. Granny doesn't know anything either. Please believe me. That's a lie. Are you saying that Oyashida-sama's curse demoned him away? There can't be a curse. There can't be. Words kept coming out of my mouth, like I was chanting a spell. I wasn't speaking of my own will anymore. It was the demon who was controlling me. That demon that had been sleeping deep inside me woke up and was speaking through my mouth. My hands, the demon's hands, grabbed Mion by the neck. Oh! You guys demoned Satoshi-kun away. You and the Sonozaki family. Give him back to me. Give him back. My hands slowly but surely squeezed Mion's neck. Mion put her hands onto mine. I looked at her fingers. 3 of the fingernails on her left hand looked as ugly as mine. Mion? What's this? Tears rolled down her cheeks. She didn't have to answer. She had the same scars as I did. She atoned as well. The way those wounds were healing looked the same as mine. So, did she get the wounds around the same time as I did? It was unfair that only you had to go through that. I felt so bad. Mion started sobbing. I stood there, petrified, still wringing Mion's neck. Since I found out you loved Satoshi-kun, I really wanted you to be happy. Because it's always only you who has to suffer, even though we're twins. It didn't come as a surprise to me that Mion might also have loved Satoshi-kun as I did. We've always liked the same stuff, and even the same people. She was stupid enough to feel obliged towards someone like me. I told Granny to leave you and Satoshi-kun alone. I shouted at her. And then she said she'd let you be if you atoned with sincerity. And you did. So you were supposed to live happily with him. But Satoshi-kun has gone away. That's terrible. Mion isn't smart enough to shed crocodile tears. Those tears were real. The tears dissolved my demon's anger like how the sun melts ice. Believe me, Shion, I really don't know why Satoshi-kun disappeared. Neither Granny nor the Sonozaki family have anything to do with it. Granny forgave you, so she would never do anything to him. Mion, I'm so sorry. Did I hurt you? Took my hands off her neck and held her instead. I'm not hurt. You've been hurt a lot more than me, haven't you? I shouted at the demon in my mind. I believed in Mion. I'd been convinced it was the Sonozaki family that made Satoshi-kun disappear. But Mion denied it. While shedding tears. Between her and me, her tears are more convincing than any words. So I'd believe in her. It absolutely wasn't the Sonozaki family that made him disappear. I don't know if I believe that. It was someone in the village, I know that for like a fact. It had to have been. If it wasn't the Sonozaki family, it was someone else. So, do you really think that Satoshi-kun disappeared because of Yashiro-sama's curse? It was me. Ah, yes, the cardinal direction did it. I don't believe in curses, and Mion didn't do it. If it wasn't the curse or the Sonozaki family, who demoned him away? I don't know. I just know it's not Mion. It's not the Sonozaki family because Mion says so. I don't know. I don't know about that. I don't know about that, buddy. That's stupid, Shion. Are you going to ignore Satoshi-kun's voice? I know. You don't have to remind me, demon. I can hear his voice. I know he's mumbling with an ambient expression, like I always used to, even though he knows help won't come. I'll help him no matter what. I'll save him if he's alive. I'll avenge him if he's dead. But Mion didn't do it. You just want to take it out on somebody. It doesn't matter who. But I'm Shion, not a demon. You're only a part of me. Don't try to take control. Fuck off! Don't ever show up again. Demon faded away. My body went limp, and I fell to the floor while holding Mion. Shion, are you alright? I'm alright now, Mion. Why are we two different individuals? Why can't we just be one? Stop it. We've asked ourselves that so many times. There's no answer. I'm Shion, and you're Mion. It's just how it is. I don't care if I'm Mion or Shion. I just want to be one and equal with you. There's nothing we can do. You just have the demon on your back. You're destined to become the successor. We can't change that. I don't want that. I don't need a demon. I don't want it. I'm not a demon. I'm not. I want to be a human like you. Mion is a demon and Shion is a human. Even though we're twins, there's a difference between us. Was it impossible for humans to live with demons after all? Should be possible, because they did it before. That's the legend of Hinamizawa. Humans and demons lived in harmony together, as Yashiro-sama watched over them. Mion, Shion, Satoshi-kun, demons, humans, Yashiro-sama's curse, the series of mysterious deaths, Satoshi-kun's disappearance. We fell asleep while holding each other, while holding everything. Wow. How wholesome. Huh? Although I'm still sus. I'm still incredibly sus. Still could be Mion. Still could be Mion. I'm not convinced. But alright. The heck was that noise? Is that like a new Steam achievement noise? Is that real? You just don't get the twin energy. No, I don't. I've heard twin energy exists. You know? Twin energy definitely exists. Like if you are a twin, you have like the psychic connection or whatever. Yeah, freaking new Steam achievement noise, I guess? Yeah. That's neat. That's fun. I don't know if I like it though. It's fun, but you can probably turn it off, right? Okay, we got 3 new ones. 50, 64, and 85, so these ones are kind of close. This one, not really. Notebook page 50. I heard it when I got notified the other day and freaked me out. Yeah. I mean, it's not too intrusive. It's a little funky noise. It's not too loud. I'd say not bad. I saw Mio Takano a few times after that. At her core, she was fascinated with the bizarre. She had insatiable curiosity that was just as strong. I have to remind myself not to take her story too seriously. Otherwise, I might start believing that Satoshi-kun disappeared because of the curse. She talks about the dark history of Hinamizawa a lot. It's all very interesting. Theories are based on nothing but conjecture. Some of her intuition covers facts that only members of the Sonozaki family would know. She thinks that Yashiro-sama's curse is the continuation of these ancient rituals. In other words, she believes that the curse is performed by religious fanatics. According to her theory, a religious cult once existed in Hinamizawa. The 3 families stemmed from it. She believes that they are operating behind the scenes in order to revive the dignity of the Onagafuchi people, which was lost during the Meiji era. Mio-san's theories are far-reaching, and looking at them on a larger scale, they end up making a lot of sense. They can't offer any explanation for Satoshi-kun's disappearance when using them on a smaller one. Her theories are just too broad. Yeah, because, like, she's mostly talking about the entirety, and, like, the mysterious deaths are only a small bit of it in the grand scheme of things. You know? Because she's doing the whole history of the village. What? This is new music for tips, isn't it? That's definitely new music for tips. Wonder what triggered it. Yeah, that's Dear You, but like with whatever the hecking instrument that is. I don't know what instrument that is. But odd. Have I just never been on tips page that long to hear it, or... It's such a good song though. I love it. I love it. Notebook page 64. I exchanged information with Oishi every now and then. We'd each expect new leads from each other, but neither of us had any luck. I no longer believe the tip that Satoshi-kun might have headed to Tokyo. It was clearly bogus anyway. Although I can't befriend Oishi, he's been fair about the deal. 70th rendition. I know. All the renditions are good. All of them are good. Although I can't befriend Oishi, he's been fair about the deal. He alone has been serious about uncovering any new information. Oishi's sources are quite reliable, so whenever I found some dubious tip, I checked with him to see if it was valid. My meetings with him have diminished in frequency, since he's been assigned to new cases. Eventually, we stopped meeting entirely. Oishi stopped investigating, and I reached the limits of my sources of information. People now think that Satoshi-kun's disappearance was a supernatural phenomenon called demoning away. In Hinamizawa, they refer to his disappearance as him having transferred. Nobody will talk about it otherwise. Oh my gosh! Are we doing a giant time skip? Oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. Because there's still a lot of the chapter left. Oh my gosh, oh my gosh. Are we gonna time skip and we're gonna see Keiichi? Oh my gosh. Let's go? I don't like the way that phrase is used to erase him. That's what's happening, right? Look at page 85. During the upheaval surrounding Yashiro-sama's curse in 1982, was pulled this way and that by new leads on Satoshi-kun's disappearance. Every time I found new information that looked promising, I kept changing my theories. It also became an incredible burden on me. Wore me down plenty on its own. That fatigue was harsh, but also provided a very kind acceptance. Bit by bit, it soothed away the anger, sadness, and doubt that wore me down. I'll never forget Satoshi-kun. I'll never try to forget him and move on. I constantly repeated those to myself in my head. I repeated them to keep my memories of Satoshi-kun from fading too, over and over. For the sake of my fun memories with Satoshi-kun, together with my fear and my sadness, I repeated them forever and ever. Dang. Dang. I'm guessing each little section is going to be an hour, so I can probably do another one. But having not done this in a while, my throat is getting so dry. So, maybe I should get some water and then we can do some more. How are we feeling? Everyone good on time? We good to keep going? Yes, thank you for hydrate. Let me go get my water because I did not place it next to me for some reason. Oh, I'm freaking out of water. Are you serious? I have like the most minuscule amount of water left. Come on. Bruh. Whatever, we can keep going. We can keep going. One more little chapter section thing at least, right? Yeah. Let me check what that achievement was called. Payment. Since a little noise plays anyway, I'll just start telling you what the achievements are called, because sometimes they're pretty funny. Alright. Let's go! 1983. Oh god, let's go! Time skip, time skip, time skip. Oh my god, I'm so excited. The 4th year of the series of mysterious deaths in Hinamizawa, also known as Yoshidasa's curse, 1 year after Satoshi Hojo's disappearance. Ah, let's go! Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. Let's go? Now we're in the timeline of the first chapter, right? And that's where Keiichi goes freaking nuts and kills Rena and Mion. Ah, this is great. Wait, are we? No. Wait, no? Yes? Are we in the first chapter or second chapter? Because the second chapter is where he meets Shion. So maybe we're in the second chapter. Yeah, we're probably in the second chapter. Oh heck, did I not read that and I just skipped it? Yeah, I did, didn't I? I hadn't been able to get used to my new school in Okinomiya, but I had some friends there now. Since I got a part-time job in my relative's store, I had some extra pocket money too. I ended up living with my parents after all, so I didn't have to pay for living expenses. It felt great to be able to get to freely spend the money I earned from working. I still used the room Kasai set up for me from time to time. It was a convenient hideout for when I didn't want to see my parents. In fact, I was planning to spend a day there too. Wait, if you still use the room Kasai set up for you, that means you're still paying for the rent, right? I mean, someone's gotta pay for the rent. Damn that teacher. She told my parents that I was skipping classes. My dad got upset, and that's why I didn't want to stay at home. I had been asking for it, though. My teacher should know that my dad is Yakuza, and that he gets really scary when he's mad. On the whole, my life had been going well so far, except that it was boring. The reason I could enjoy this lifestyle is probably because I had to live in secret before. It was a great relief to be able to live without having to fake my identity. Well, that might have been a valuable experience. I think I learned from it. I was going grocery shopping and thought I'd get enough food for a week or so. My parents would appreciate my presence more after missing me for a week. I was doing this for their sakes. Oh wait, isn't there a 100 yen sale today? Yeah, there is. I knew how to save my pocket money. I was in a good mood. I'd spun around with my arms spread out. Felt like I was I was inside a little whirlwind. Why the heck did you do that? Why did that scare me? Ugh. It felt like a hitting noise, so I was like, bruh. My arm hit a motorcycle parked on the sidewalk. It obviously wasn't there. Wasn't where it was supposed to be. Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. I know this moment. I know this moment. Oh my gosh, oh my gosh. This is where Keiichi meets Shion for the first time. And he thinks... Wait, no. Keiichi meets Shion for the first time at the Maid Cafe, right? Not Maid Cafe, but the Angel Mort. Or is it here? I can't remember. Either way. Ow. What the... Who parked this motorcycle here? Gave the motorcycle a kick with no hesitation. Why would you do that? There were 3 motorcycles lined up in a row. They all felt like dominoes. It was beautiful and so much fun. Shion! Shion causing chaos. Alright. Oh. This was odd. Felt like I'd gone through the exact same experience before. You have. You have. This is how she met Satoshi, actually. Not Keiichi. Yeah. While blinking my eyes in an effort to recall when that was, some people grabbed me by the neck and dragged me into a dark alley. It looked like these punks were the owners of those motorcycles. They started shouting at me. This really was strange. I was having deja vu. The fuck are you, bitch? What you think you're doing, huh? Walking by shredding, bitch. Real. Yeah, that's what thugs sound like. Grah. Gonna pay for what you did. That's right. It was when I met Satsuki-kun for the first time. Came to save me. If I pretended to cry again now, would he come to save me again? I made a wish. I started pretending to cry and beg for mercy. At that time, I doubted my ears. Cut it out. Can't you see she's crying? Ah, there he is! Oh my god! This is the first time we're ever seeing his sprite as well. Oh my gosh, in 5 whole chapters. This is the first time we're actually seeing him. Ah, it was a boy about my age. Couldn't quite see his face because of the light illuminating him from behind. Satoshi-kun? Of course, it couldn't be him. It couldn't be. I snapped out of my daydream and realized that it wasn't Satoshi-kun after all. He looked less gracious than Satoshi-kun, so to speak. If Satoshi-kun was pristine and untouched, then this guy would have scratches all over him. How mean. But although they were completely different, I got a similar impression from him somehow. What the hell? What the fuck are you? You wanna get hurt or what? Fucking say something. Son of a bitch. The boy looked a bit taken back. Well, I just thought you might want to let her go because she's crying, so... The fuck you think you tell us what to do? Whoa, hold on. I'm against violence. What was up with this guy? Felt ashamed that I mistook him for Satoshi-kun even for a second. I hate when people say Satoshi and Keiichi are like the same person. They're not. They're really not. He seemed so cool at first, but he wasn't as cool as Satoshi-kun after all. Well, I mean, I'm sorry that your motorcycles were knocked down, but I hope you don't feel too bad about it. How could I make you feel better? Of course, we don't have any money on us, you know. If you don't got money, then... If you got no money, you got paid with your body. Oh my gosh, no. 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 Hey, are you kidding me? Tightened my grip on the stun gun in my pocket. I turned it up to maximum intensity. Don't hold a grudge against me if you die, pervs. Oh my god. I love it when the girls get stripped in those porn videos. What is okay, I don't think we needed this dialogue. This dialogue was unnecessary with the funky music, meaning it's trying to do it for comedic effect and not for actual scareness, which is bad taste. Bad taste. They indulge in their imaginations, which arouse their spirits. Hey now, why are you perverts closing in on me? Your gross hands are groping the air. Are you gonna try- stop! Stop! It's not funny. Stop doing it. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah. I love how they keep going on about this. I love this comedy. This is my favorite type of comedy. They should keep doing this. Hey, are you out of your mind? Don't touch me, those filthy ants. Then a flash of light cut through the air. Was that a boy? You stupid fucks! Blows like thunderbolts knocked the punks down. Wow, so he was actually strong after all. What the hell? You want some? Huh? You don't have a clue, idiots. What the fuck are you on about? Nothing rousing about stark nakedness. Leave her socks on at least. Huh? No matter what, that is the ironclad rule. Is this Keiichi? He is a freak. I mean, we've seen Keiichi do some messed up stuff in the past, you know? So I know he's kind of a freak already. Listen up, monkeys. What's the difference between a homo sapien and other animals? That's right, humans wear clothes. That's the one difference? Dude. Human beings without clothes are just animals. If you get aroused only when a girl is completely naked, you are less than human. Okay, that's funny. That's kind of funny. You might as well be animals. I'm going to knock some sense into you. Clench those teeth. What the heck is that background? You mentioned a porn movie, didn't you? Let's say there's a cosplay sex video. The definition of cosplay is too broad. To lecture on the subject is as difficult as explaining the spirit of, well, It's just going. I'm not even doing anything, it's just going. What are the 3 most prominent divisions of the larger category of school uniforms? That's right, regular uniforms, gym uniforms, school uniforms, both the sailor style and blazer style included under regular uniforms. Let's say HEWWO has a preference in one of the 3 divisions. Hey, you tall one, you take the regular uniform. Fat one, you take the gym uniform. And you, the short one, you take the school uniform. Picture the image in your head within 3 seconds. Are you done? That's not good enough. Do it again. Let's say there's a porn video of your favorite cosplay. Use your imagination. Come on. What is it? What is happening? Imagine your favorite cosplay stripped entirely naked because of your stupid desire. Now think, if you take all their clothes off, that's not cosplay anymore, is it? That sort of video is rampant lately. Humans without clothes aren't civilized, they're animals. If you like, if only naked. A huge amount of Russian porn bits are going around lately thanks to the end of the Cold War. You don't know that? Get out of here. I heard that the style called the beautiful Russian school girl is emerging, but I'll never accept that. School uniforms are part of Japanese culture and art. Those stupid barbarians will never understand Japanese spirit. Are you listening? What? Dude, this is just a self-insertion by the creator. Isn't it? All that spiel? That was just a self-insert, wasn't it? Like the creator thought those things and was like, oh, I'll use this moment in Keiichi to say this. Right? That's what happened? Yeah. At that point, I heard a bustle of people running this way. Maibara-san, I gathered some people. Saw several kids running towards us. Seemed like our backup had arrived. Ah, shit, let's get out of here. 3 punks had just been standing there agape, but they started running away when they saw that many people. You're awesome, Maibara-san! You had those punks' transfixed all by yourself! One of them even had a nosebleed. You're so strong, Maibara-san. Whew! Seemed like my personal aura is growing more powerful. If this keeps up, I'll soon surpass even Coach's Made in Heaven reality marble. Anyway, are you alright, Mune? Boy was apparently called Maibara. He turned around to face me. Even the way he mistook me for Mion sounded like Satoshi-kun. But Satoshi-kun isn't a pervert like him. I was anxious to see how you'd fight back, but I guess 3 guys was too many, The JoJo and Fate reference. Yeah. Yep. I got the Fate one, but I don't think I got the JoJo one. Is Made in Heaven? That's the JoJo one. And then Reality Marble's the Fate one, right? Right? Yeah. I don't believe it. I was confused. I couldn't yet grasp the situation. Who is this guy? Mion had friends like him? I was still spacing out in shock, so I forgot to move until his hand touched my head. Well, you know, I'll forget that I saw you cry, so cheer up, okay? Rub rub. The boy called Maibara stroked my head roughly. It didn't feel good. It hurt, actually. But still, his hand had the same warmth. Later on, Mion told me about him. He was called Keiichi Maibara. Kei-chan for short. He's 1 grade below us. Not only that, but he just moved to Hinamizawa. Keiichi's a cosplay-loving type, yeah. I mean, everyone loves cosplay, don't they? Cosplay's great. Not only that, but he just moved to Hinamizawa. Thanks to his attitude and lack of manners, he'd already become an idol in their class. Mion joyously explained all of this. Sure, he sounded like a fun kid. I knew why Mion was into him. But Satoshi-kun is way cooler. Wasn't worth stealing from sis. Or was he? My heart throbbed. I was excited. Felt like I'd gotten a new toy. I was curious to what kind of relationship Mion intended to build with him. I'd love to tease her about it. Thanks, Kei-chan. Let me buy you a drink. My uncle's restaurant is just nearby, so why don't we go there? Satoshi-kun would refuse out of modesty. But Keiichi Maibara said, okay, within 2 seconds. Well then, couldn't wait to tease the 2 of them. My boring life suddenly became bright again. Whoa, hey, don't cling to my arm. Oh, you don't like it? Oh well, I don't hate it, it's just, oh my gosh. My friends bother you. Hee. So she's pretending to be Mion again. Even though that wasn't like allowed anymore, was it? It's technically not allowed for her to say that she's Mion. Or Keiichi Marubar was fun. Mion thought the same way I did. She'd always talk about him. I was happy for her. It made me smile. Guess Kei-chan really is your favorite, huh, sis? What's the most interesting thing about him? Let's see. To put it plainly, he's just funny. For example, just a couple days ago in the club, Mion really liked him, but didn't seem to think it was love yet. She's reserved in that area, so that was really like her. As for me, well, I didn't hate him. My feelings weren't the same as Mion's. Kei-chan was just too childish compared to Satoshi-kun. Crazy what a year and a lot of trauma can do to someone. I wondered how Satoshi-kun was doing. Was he waiting for things to cool down somewhere far away? The case had already been solved, though. That dopehead was the murderer. There was no reason for him to wait anymore. I shook my head. I shouldn't think about it too much. Oh wait, I know. The case was confidential, so the arrest of the culprit hadn't been made public. So Satoshi-kun hadn't realized that he could come back. I know he's a little thick-headed. Maybe he'd been waiting for things to calm down until the end of time. But if so, couldn't he give a call to Satoko at least? He should tell her he's living in a faraway place, but that he'd be coming home soon. Ah, that stupid Satoko. She'd been living with Rika Furude ever since Satoshi-kun went away. So nobody would pick up the phone even if he called. Stupid girl. Why don't you want your big brother to come home? Given Satoshi-kun's personality, he wouldn't remember any phone numbers other than his home number, so he wouldn't be able to contact anybody in Hinamizawa. Maybe he's been calling Satoko every night. He keeps ringing, but nobody picks up. Then he'd assume Satoko might be taking a bath or be in the restroom. He put on a puzzled smile while mumbling, like always. I imitated his voice without realizing it. After that, What? What's up? Did you say something, Shion? I laughed it off and urged Mion to continue. I realized then that her tone had changed. I had been listening to her because I was thinking about Satoshi-kun. I thought she was still happily talking about Kei-chan. Mion sounded grim now. Her faint smile looked pitiful. It's too late to ask about what was going on, so instead I concentrated on her story instead. After all that, Uncle gave everybody a doll as a thank you gift. Everybody except for me. Okay, except for you. I wanted one too, but I couldn't say it in front of everybody. You still can't express your needs, huh? And then? Mion sniffled. I realized that she was on the verge of tears. The cutest doll was in Kei-chan's bag. And you wanted that doll? It didn't matter which one, but although Kei-chan knew only I didn't get one, he didn't give it to me. He didn't give it to me. He said the doll wouldn't fit me and that I should be born as a boy in my next life. Oh, Kei-chan. Kei-chan. Wow, that is yikers. I know we saw it happen through his eyes earlier, but Kei-chan, yikes. You know, I enjoy seeing this other perspective from the same situation. That's what he said. That was Keiichi's weak point. It might be fun and popular, but he wasn't mature. Not like Satoshi-kun. I want to start all over. I want to go back to when I just met him and start all over. I want him to treat me like a girl from the beginning. Don't take it too seriously. It'll be okay. Because it's just you who wants to start over while he didn't even notice anything was wrong. It'd be harder if you guys fought over it or something. Can I start over? If you didn't cry in front of him, it's not too late. You can cry as much as you want now. If you show him a different side of you from tomorrow on, you can still fix it. What is she saying? What do you mean if you didn't cry in front of him, it's not too late? What? She should just tell him that, I was hurt by this. Can you not do that in the future? What? What is she telling? Just don't say anything and act more feminine? Is that what it is? I'm amazed at how insensitive he is, but part of that is just the impression you've been giving him so far. If you change your attitude from tomorrow on, you can still change his mind. Ah, yes, change yourself for the boy. That's what Shion's saying. How do I change my attitude? How? If I tell you to act cute, you'd start going to school in frilly clothes. So, don't think and just be natural. But without overdoing it. Pay attention to how you behave around him. Ah, and don't forget to be cautious of Rena. She's a bit ahead of you so far. Kei-chan might prefer Rena at this point. That is so mean! Shion, what is wrong with you? God. Oh, it's true. Rena's really girly. She's cute and caring. That just means you can't slack off even for a moment, sis, because you've got a rival. Tears can attract men, but they don't anchor them. What the heck just that? Shion's insane. You should always be smiling, but cry when it really counts. That's how you typically do it. Maybe I should try that on Kei-chan myself. No, don't. Keiichi doesn't really see her in a feminine way, but Mion wants to be seen in that way. Yeah, exactly. But, you know, Mion should just tell him that. Make him try to understand that, hey, I would still like you to treat me, like, as a girl, not just one of the homies. But, the way Shion goes about it is all wrong, I think. Telling her to, like, act different. Well, she said be herself, just don't overdo it, which I guess is true. But, he's the boy you like, so I guess it's natural I like him too. How can I attract him? Hey sis, why don't we have a competition over him? Saying that would be kind of like a confession. I wouldn't see it like that, but I guess it could be seen like that. Yeah, I can see that. Hey sis, why don't we have a competition over him? No, never. I'll kick you into orbit if you come near Hinamizawa. I'm happy for you, sis. It's not too late at all. It's important to know the distance between the boy you love and yourself, and shift the way you appeal to him to compensate. The boy I love is missing, you know? I don't even know where he is, or when he's coming back. Compared to that, you're very lucky. Moon was saying she'd do her best from tomorrow on with red tearful eyes, but I sense a deeply negative feeling emerging inside of me. Nobody was blaming Mion for being happy with Keiichi. I wasn't envious. I wasn't jealous. I didn't want her to be blamed the same way I was blamed. It was just that there was no space for Satoshi-kun in Mion's mind anymore. Filled as it was with Kei-chan and her other friends now. It didn't matter to her if Satoshi-kun came back, or not. Just like how she didn't care if it was sunny or rainy tomorrow. What about me then? Had I been thinking about Satoshi-kun all this time for the past year? I wasn't proud of my own answer. I'd become used to life without Satoshi-kun. His absence didn't hurt me anymore. I was getting used to life with Keiichi Maibara. If I let my guard down, I might just fill up the space I'd been saving for Satoshi-kun. If Shion Sonozaki had prayed harder for Satoshi-kun to return, he might have come home already. No! Where did Satoshi-kun go? Last year, right after his disappearance, I'd paid close attention to the information circulating in the Sonozaki family and its underground connections. And I frequently went back to the police station to check with Oishi for new information. Even with all that, I couldn't get any new leads on his whereabouts. Eventually became interested in Oyashida-sama's curse, which surrounded Satoshi-kun's disappearance. I researched the dark history of the village. The more I looked into it, the less likely his survival seemed. I returned Mio-san's scrapbooks to her, and then I hadn't gone to the library since. I started a new life in a new school. I made new friends. And in the same way, as falling leaves cover the ground, I felt like I was losing sight of what was really important to me. It was already almost the end of spring. They said that the summer was coming early, and it'd be very hot this year. Normally it'd be the raining season now, but we'd had no rain at all. The Watsunagashi festival is right around the corner. It's been almost a year since Satoshi-kun went missing. In Hinamizawa, they don't allow you to talk openly about Yashida-sama's curse or the series of mysterious deaths. So everybody acts like the murder of Satoshi-kun's aunt never happened. That's because Satoshi Hojo-kun was a member of the family of traitors. Fell victim to Yashida-sama's curse on the 4th year running. He was demoned away. Everybody was trying to forget about his existence and erase their memories of him. Don't make him disappear because of the curse. Don't erase his existence. Satoshi-kun was living in Hinamizawa just a year ago. He went to school. He was an A student. He was a member of the Hinamizawa Fighters. He could never hit the ball when it really mattered. He was unreliable, but pure. He was warm. Because of the curse, people made him disappear. They stopped mentioning his name and acted like he never existed. A new resident like Keiichi Maibara wouldn't even know him. He seriously believed that Satoshi-kun had transferred out. I miss you, Satoshi-kun. I want to go shopping with you again. I want to be in a baseball game with you again and get a cold drink afterwards. I want to tease you and I want you to stroke my head again. Your hand was so warm. I felt as if my whole body was being caressed. Satoshi-kun. That's so sad, man. I haven't opened this notebook in a while. My feelings have been written down for over 150 pages. This notebook is the key to my heart. The other me who's been sleeping since last year is slowly waking up. Yeah, because now she has like a constant reminder of Satoshi-kun, almost. Ah, God. I hate when well, I don't know if it's like a bad thing, but when you read stuff or like, yeah, when you read stuff or see a movie or TV show, whatever, and you try to equate what's happening there to your own life and junk like that, and I think about like, it's so sad. It's so sad. Heck, but it's fine. It's fine. Freaking constant reminder almost. You have to get past the constant reminder thing, you know? You have to just accept, you know? I can't talk about it. I'll freaking cry. I haven't done Satoko in so long, holy heck.
I'm quite amazed by your dirty deeds, Keiichi-san. He is a boy, after all. Mi-chan, Shi-chan, Keiichi-kun looks confused. Oh.
Did you hear that, sis? We're not playing tug of war here. Are you trying to tear Kei-chan apart? I'm not playing tug of war. You're the one who's stretching him. Go back to Okinomiya, Shion. Okay, I will. Oops. I let go of Keiichi suddenly, so he and sis flew off like a rubber band. Yeah, I try and get into that headspace to get as close as I can to the work I'm reading. Nah, I can't do that. I can't. Like, I do it automatically, so I have to try and force myself not to, because I get way too emotional about it. I get way too emotional about it. Like, sometimes I get so emotional, I can't read or watch that thing ever again. It's crazy. Oh wait, is Nipa gone? Oh, is it? It shouldn't be gone. I didn't add it back. Oh, dang. Okay, I'll have to do that next time. I'll have to add Nipa back. I don't know why I didn't add it back when I changed the whole system over. Yippee! Yeah, yippee. Yeah, Nipa will return. It will return. Bigger and better. Imagine there was a Nipa. Yeah, okay, yeah. Imagine with your eyes and your ears that there was a Nipa. Keiichi rolled on the ground while Sis was stuck in a bush head first. What lively people. See you, Kei-chan. Sis might assault me if I stick around any longer, so I'll get going. Oh, Shion. Thanks for today. Forget it. I didn't do much. See you, Shion. His hand landed on my head. Rub, rub, rub. Stroked my head pretty roughly. I have a genuine question. Do guys do this in real life, or is this an anime thing? Like, real question. Because I've had a guy do this to me before. It was bad, and I did not like it. So, this is just an anime thing, right? Right? Yeah. Don't do this. Yeah, invasion of personal space. Exactly. Do not do that. Call out to all guys. Do not pat a girl on her head without permission. Yeah, like head pats in general. Like if you knew someone for like 2 weeks, you would not do that, right? You would not do that. That's just an anime thing. It's not real. Maybe it's real in Japan, but it's not. No. Because I know Kabedon is real, right? But that's kind of an anime thing too. But it's also real. I don't know. I don't know the culture behind it. I guess. I stroked my head pretty roughly, but the warmth reminded me. Excuse me, I'm going. See you, sis. Don't ever come here again. Rena, keep your eyes on her. Satsuko, set traps. Rika-chan, purify this area with salt. The warmth remained on the top of my head. It felt ticklish and sore. I mean, if they were fine with it, maybe. But even then, I can barely hug people, so probably not. Yeah, it just feels way too personal. And also kind of treating the person like a kid, you know? Because usually you just do that with kids, right? But even then, I had to stop. I got off my moped and pushed that aching spot against the telephone pole. I'm sorry, Satoshi-kun. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I never forgot about you. I still remember you. I'm worthless without you. I can't stand life without you because it's gray and cold and boring. Heck, stop. I'm fine. It sucks because I've like said these things before. I need a freaking tissue. Heck. I didn't freaking bring any. It's fine. I can still see. I can read. It's so sad, man. It's fine. If she keeps going on about this, I'll freaking cry more. It's true. I can never smile because you aren't here. I can't. See you, Shion. Keiichi's face appeared in my mind. Recalled the touch of his hand stroking my head. It wasn't warm. I wasn't happy. It was rough and painful. I hate that insensitive guy. He's too childish, rude, and cold. He's like a stray dog. I wasn't happy. It wasn't warm. I wasn't happy or overjoyed at all. No. Oh, Satoshi-kun. Wing. Real. Satoshi-kun mumbled. He didn't know what to say in a situation like this. But he knew that he had better say something. He wanted to say something, but he didn't know what to say. So he just mumbled. I'm sorry. Hello, I'm back. And better. It's just one of those things that's still kind of hard to talk about, you know? And especially when freaking Shion is saying everything that I freaking said. You know? Like, come on. It's so odd to, you know, see, somebody, you know, say the exact things that you said when, I'm not even gonna say similar, but just like a semi-similar, I guess. And especially when the freaking time of it is the same as well. God. 1 year. But think I'm hurting you by continuing to exist. I don't want that. It's not true. No, no, no. Where have you been, Satoshi-kun? You weren't with me? Tell me where you are. What's the address? What's the postal code? What's the name of the city? What's the street number? Tell me. There isn't an address. I knew it. Tell me you've always been with me, always by my side. That's such a cliche. Which do you prefer, Shion? If I can give you strength, I'll stay by your side forever. But if you're suffering because of me, I'll disappear right away. Don't say that. I want to be with you, always. I want to be with you forever. Okay, I'll stay with you then. The car passed by. It always snapped me out of my reverie. The sky was turning orange. I should get home before it gets cold. I should go home, Tokinomiya. You're with me, right? Are you with me right now, Satoshi-kun? I walked back to my moped. My feet sank into the grass. Crunch, crunch, crunch. I stopped when I reached my bike. But then I heard an extra footstep. I gasped. I could feel somebody else's presence. I'm not stupid. Nobody else was around here. Nobody had suddenly appeared behind me. So I wasn't surprised to find nobody when I turned around. But he was definitely still there. Satoshi-kun. I couldn't see him, but he was there. He was there for me. Satoshi-kun never lies. He said he'd be with me all the time. I'd just been too insensitive to feel his existence until now. Oh my gosh, she's 100% misinterpreting the extra footstep as being Satoshi. It's not Satoshi, bro. It's not. It's not. Satoshi-kun. Satoshi-kun. A breeze tickled my hair. Felt cold, but to me, there's nothing but the warmth of his hand. It took me a while to notice that my cheeks were wet with tears. Ah, that's the beginning, isn't it? When they hear that extra footstep. That's it. Yeah, she's lost it. It can only go downhill from here. Right? Beginning of the end? Yeah, exactly. I was too scared to sleep. If I went to sleep, I might not find Satoshi-kun there in the morning. So I kept talking to him until I passed out. Told him about what happened while he was missing. Told him that I realized how much I loved him after he went away. I'd searched for him, looking into various different things. I'd gather underground information through Kasai, and bargain for police information with Oishi, but I couldn't find any leads. A long time passed, but I kept thinking about him. Etc., etc. Told him all the small details from my daily life. Places I wanted to go with him, things I wanted to do with him, food I wanted to share with him, and told him a lot of things. I was sitting up at first, but I got tired, so I lay down. I got tired of moving my mouth too, so I started talking to him in my mind. It was the happiest night I've ever had. Dang, man. When I woke up, I didn't find Satoshi-kun by my side. I knew it somehow. I was afraid of it. That's why I didn't want to go to sleep. But at least I got to see him for one night. Just when I've resigned myself to that, I felt Sachi-kun's presence again. It wasn't a dream after all. Thank God. So I began my strange life with Sachi-kun. As promised, Sachi-kun was always by my side. Couldn't laugh, mumble, or stroke my head, but he was always with me, always right by my side. He disappeared sometimes, but he'd come back when I looked for him. It seemed that all I could hear was his footsteps. It's just the way it was. It's a bit sad, but I was still satisfied. His presence was really faint, so it was hard to sense him in a crowd. But he never left me. If he were tangible, I'd be taking his hand all the time so he wouldn't be lost. In contrast, I could feel him very strongly in a quiet environment. Of course, I couldn't tell him what his expressions were. I couldn't tell what his expressions were because he was just a presence. But after I got used to it, I could tell what he was thinking. At first, I could only tell if he was laughing or not. Eventually, I started to feel his emotions more strongly. I could communicate with him normally. You know, no, she's not gonna go insane in this chapter. This is a healthy cope to being followed by a ghost. You know? You interpret it as a good thing, right? Yeah. So it's fine. It's a cope. Because you remember, in chapter 2, I'll recap briefly, Mion is the one that goes crazy. In chapter 2. Mion's the one. So, you know. Mion kidnaps Keiichi, kidnaps Shion, like, tortures them. You know? It's Mion the one that goes crazy. So I don't know if she hears the footsteps, or if it's just Shion. But, yeah, Keiichi doesn't hear the footsteps, I'm pretty sure, in this chapter, right? Yeah. I communicate with him normally. I was usually alone with him, though. I didn't want to go to school or hang out with my friends anymore. But Sachi-kun got upset about that. He'd keep mumbling unhappily. Now that I knew he'd always be with me, I shouldn't just stay home all the time. I was sticking to my time alone with him, however, because I was scared that he might suddenly disappear again. I wanted to make the most out of the time I was sharing with him right now. Must have been worrying too excessively. Satoshi-kun will always be by my side. Yeah, that was his promise. He never breaks his promises. I was fine, because he was there. Of course, I couldn't tell anyone about him, not even Sis. I could try to explain it to them, but they'd never understand. But I was certain that he was with me. So, I'd be alright. Never get fed up with my life with him. He's really cute, you know. We always walk together, but when I stop, he always walks one extra step. That's so adorable. I love it. Oh my gosh. Bring and parallel this to Keiichi flipping out completely over the extra step. That is so funny. Oh. Didn't Satoshi or Rena tell Shion about the curse and the phantom footsteps? I think somebody did tell her. I think somebody did tell her and she just forgot. I think so. Shion-san, what are you going to do on Watsugashi this year? Oopsie. I know. Big oopsie. Considering this is a big deal. But, you know, she'll live, right? Right? I guess I'll have some fun at the festival. Maybe I'll tease Sis and her friends. Wanted to go to the festival with Satoshi-kun. I knew he liked to see me having fun with everybody. Forget who dies in what chapter. I know, it gets all muddled after a while. But in chapter 2, I think just Shion... No. Just Takano and the photographer, I forget his name. They you know, disappear. I don't think anyone else dies. I don't think so. I don't remember Keiichi dying. I think Keiichi's fine. Because Shion goes to save him. Yeah. Right? Is this the one where Shion... Yeah, it's the one where Shion and Keiichi sneak into the storehouse. Is this also the one where Rika gets found dead at the bottom of the well? In chapter 2, lots of people die. I thought they both died in that. Did they? I don't think they did. I'm so... Chapter 3 was Satoko. Chapter 2 is Shion. Chapter 4 was... I don't remember. What was chapter 4? Rika, right? Yeah. Yeah, so it was chapter 2. I might get jealous if I play with Kei-chan, but Satoshi-kun isn't very sensitive in that way. Satoshi-kun loved to see me and my friends have fun, so I should have a lot of fun for his sake. I'd talk about that day with him later. How are you going to Hinamizawa? I can give you a ride if you want. Taking my moped so you don't have to. That won't do. Aren't you going to the family party afterwards? Can't let you drive under the influence. He won't let me drive, but he's kind enough to let me drink. Bruh, what? Alright, take me then. Good. Let's leave before nightfall. I'll come pick you up around that time. After Kasai left... Oh, that was a freaking conversation between Kasai. I literally thought Shion was talking to Satoshi. After Kasai left, I sensed that Satoshi-kun was excited about going to the festival. Nagashi, huh? So, it's been almost a year since you went away. Satoshi-kun seemed confused. Bet you're going all, right now, aren't you? We laughed together. Welcome! Here's your net and a bowl. Great. Wow, these fish are so active. They look delicious. Could eat this little one raw right there. Huh?
What are you saying, Mion-san? Mi-chan, you eat goldfish? Did you eat the one I gave you last year too?
No, I didn't say that. Sis shook her head hard. She turned all red. But you just said it. You said they look delicious. I heard it too. Sis eats everything as long as it fits inside her mouth.
If it's really good, I'll try it once. No, you can't, Rika-chan. You're going to get sick.
Wait a minute. Hey, you. How long have you been here, Shion? Hey! Hi, Kei-chan, sis, and everyone else. Good evening. Hey, my freaking nose. I didn't blow my nose. When'd you get here, Shion? I've been here since you were at the Chow Mein booth. I found you guys quickly since you were making so much noise. Hey, you're not in our club. Get lost. Don't be mean, sis. Right. Kei-chan? You're fine if I come with you guys, right? Took Kei-chan's arm and held it between... Shion. Shion? Shion. Realistically, should you be doing these things? I think the answer is no. We're going to have a ball. Shion, your ghost BF is right there. I know. Oh my gosh. Does she ever think about that? She thinks about it too much. I ran around the booths with Siths and her friends. I joked around and laughed out loud. I joked around and lolled. I teased Kei-chan and Sis too. Kei-chan was at the center of the group, so if I did something to him, it naturally involved everybody else. It looked like Satoshi-kun was having a hard time finding his own spot in the crowd. When I glanced at him in a quiet moment, he smiled and told me to have fun without worrying about him. If he were tangible, I'd pulled his arm to join the crowd. It made me sad that I couldn't do that. I bumped into somebody's shoulder. It's obviously my fault, so I apologized right away. So it turned around. As it turned out, it was somebody I knew. Oh, looks like you're having fun.
Good evening, Shion-chan.
The moon looks beautiful tonight, doesn't it? Sus. In Watsunagashi, and Mio is found in the oil drum and Tomitake is found dead. After that, the Free family head dies in Alto Satoko. And also... I don't remember that at all. I don't remember that at all. I was considering like playing one after another, like doing one of the question arcs and then the correlating answer arc. But I was like, you can't do it out of order, right? But when you do it like this, you forget things that happened in the previous chapter because it's been so long. But, we'll find out anyway. It'll be a surprise all over again, right?
The moon looks beautiful tonight, doesn't it?
Oh, it's been forever, Takano-san. And you were... Nice to meet you. I'm Tomitake. I heard you were Mion-chan's twin sister?
Nice to meet you too, Tomitake-san.
Heard you were a great cameraman. Please take a picture of me someday. I'm just an amateur dreaming of going professional.
Well, you're actually great, Jiro-san. You're good at many things. Hee hee hee.
Oh my god. When you say it like that. No, I need to study more. I have no talent, so I have to put a lot of effort to compensate. They must have been in a relationship. You two look so happy together. Am I interrupting you?
Oh no. I appreciate your consideration, but you're not interrupting us at all. And you can call me Mio like before. Not Takano-san.
It's just a bit hard for me to call someone older than me by your first name. Well, never mind. I smiled bashfully and Takano-san smiled back elegantly.
I haven't seen you in the library since. I wanted to talk to you more as a fellow researcher.
Well, when I feel like it. Just came to say hi, have a nice stream. Thank you, thank you. Hello, Apaka. And also, hello, Jay. Sorry, I didn't say hi earlier.
Fellow researcher?
Are you interested in it too, Shion-chan? I mean, in the legend of this village? Tomitake-san raised his eyebrows. As far as I knew, Takano-san's hobby wasn't exactly normal. On the surface, her research dealt with the cultural history of ancient Hinamizawa, but its main focus was the Nagashi festival from ancient times. The cannibal banquet in which they captured and gutted a living sacrifice. Her research covered various stories surrounding that, and other legends of cruelty. It was nothing if not gory. That was where her main interest lay. So I didn't feel comfortable being called a fellow researcher, to be honest. But objectively speaking, her research notes were fun to read. It was then that I heard loud booms of the taiko drums. The main event of the Nagashi festival, the dedication dance, was about to start. According to Takano-san's hypothesis, the part of the dance where the shrine maiden tears open the futon mat represents gutting a living victim. It's starting. I should head over. Aren't you guys coming to see Rika-chama's performance? Tomitake-san looked bewildered. Did that mean he wasn't coming? Takano-san giggled and whispered in my ear.
To tell you the truth, we're thinking of sneaking into the ritual storehouse.
Here we go. Here we go.
Huh?
She made it sound like she was going to do something fun, but it wouldn't be amusing to anyone who knew what the ritual storehouse was. Ritual storehouse, or the storehouse for ritual implements, is a sort of treasure house belonging to the Furude Shrine. I heard that Oyashiro-sama's sacred treasures were stored in there. Only people from the Furude family and selected members of the other three families are allowed to enter. They believe that if other people enter, the place would be desecrated. Everybody in Hinamizawa must have been curious about what was in there when they were kids. But the storehouse was always tightly locked. You couldn't just peek into it either. Kids would get chided if they played around it, so they learned to stay away. I didn't like being around it myself, since I was familiar with all that. Even though I didn't believe in curses, I still didn't want to be near it. Nothing good can come from breaking the rules. Were they still going to enter the ritual storehouse despite all that?
Pretty sure it's tightly locked.
It was. Oh, I'm pretty sure it's tightly locked.
It was, until last year. Rika-chan had the heavy bolt changed to a cheap padlock, because the bolt was too heavy for her to lift. Did you know that?
No. But even if it's cheap, it's still locked, isn't it? Even if it's not locked, don't go in it.
Jiro-san is very skilled.
Oh, are you good at lock picking?
Once the Nagashi ritual starts, everybody will gather around the stage, right? Then the area around the storehouse will be completely devoid of people. Tonight, this place will be a blind spot. Can't see the forest for the trees, I suppose.
According to her hypothesis, the ancient tools used for human dissection and torture would be found in the ritual storehouse.
Why don't you join us in a bit? It's now or never. Hee hee. So, maybe I'll see you then.
Takano-san, what are you telling her?
Just girl talk. Let's go to some dark place for a quick date.
Hee hee. Some dark place. What? Huh? Takano-san walked against the flow of the crowd alongside Tomitake-san. The ritual storehouse, huh? It was supposedly filled with torture tools. Considering what they had in the underground torture room at the Sonozaki house, that's quite possible. Satoshi-kun fell victim to the curse in the 4th year. Zan's death was the sign of Yasuda-sama's curse. Satoshi-kun was the sacrifice to pacify Yasuda-sama's anger. That was what Takano said last year. It was just her hypothesis. At present, I wanted to deny the hypothesis because I wanted to believe that Satoshi-kun was still alive. If our hypothesis was correct, either some religious fanatic or somebody from the 3 families must be imitating the curse in order to revive that ancient custom of Onigafuchi. That would mean that it was them who killed Satoshi-kun. Well, killed Satoshi-kun. I guess she believes he's dead after being missing for so long. I mean, it's pretty likely. So what if the ritual storehouse was filled with garbage instead of torture implements? Maybe it was filled with broken plannikins or freshly painted signboards for the festival. What then? It wasn't really hard for me to believe that it was filled with the chemical smell of paint. Maybe I'll get to deny the hypothesis that Satoshi-kun was sacrificed by seeing the inside of the ritual storehouse for myself. Whatever was in there, it didn't mean that Satoshi-kun would come back. What should I do, Satoshi-kun? Most people went to see Rika-chama's ritual dance. The festival grounds were deadly quiet. Chama? Like Sama, but Chama. I think it's like a cute thing, isn't it? Chan and Sama together. Even so, I couldn't sense Satoshi-kun. Did he go somewhere? Was I not paying enough attention? Maybe he wasn't feeling any emotions in particular. After thinking for a while, I decided to go in with them. Been almost a year since Satoshi-kun's disappearance. I've been avoiding the truth because afraid he might be dead. But now I had a chance. I had the chance to see the inside of the ritual storehouse. Felt as though something divine had arranged that coincidence. On my way to the storehouse, I noticed Keiichi, just jumping up and down, trying to see Rika-chama's dedication dance over people's shoulders. If I took him along, we could split the guild. What a wonderful thing to think, huh? Yasuda-sama might put a curse on me for entering his divine storehouse. Wanted a partner in crime. Since the boy I loved disappeared last year because of the curse, maybe Mion's love should disappear this year. Shion! Shion! That's messed up. That's messed up. That's real messed up. Whoa, what am I thinking? That must have been the demon inside of me. I shook the thought out of my head. That must have been the demon inside of me, right? Any bad thought is just the demon inside of you, you know? All those rock metal songs were correct. There is a demon inside everyone. I shook the thought out of my head. What's going on, Shion? Where's the best place to see Rika-chan's performance from? Is it far? I remember this exact conversation for some reason. I remember this one. Out of everything. Huh? I never said I was going to show you that. We made it to the ritual storehouse. Keiichi was baffled by the whole situation. Our timing had been perfect. I could see Tomitake-san picking the lock. Aw, boy. Even though Keiichi must have been curious, he insisted that we shouldn't go in. But I talked him into it anyway. He was quick to change his mind when Tomitake-san joined in. It was completely dark inside, so Takano-san lit a battery-powered lantern. A small entry space appeared before us. It's so dark in here. Take care not to trip over anything. I appreciate the concern. Okay, doorman, keep a good watch. We're shutting the door now. Takano-san closed the door with a smile, as if leaving Tomitaki-san out on purpose. Man, alright everyone, have fun. As soon as the heavy door was closed, we were surrounded by a quiet darkness. All we could rely on was Takano-san's lantern. It'll be fine. It's an outdoor lantern with backup batteries inside. It won't go out or anything. Takano-san teased Keiichi a little. Keiichi, in turn, looked a little pale. He seemed to be able to recognize the sanctity of the building, even though he wasn't from Hinamizawa. Let's go in. Here we go. There. As Takano-san opened the heavy inner door, a dusty foul smell flowed out. It's like the smell of a pantry that hadn't been opened in years, the smell of a fish market mixed together. I didn't know exactly how to describe it, but it was a bad smell. From listening to the echo of our footsteps, I could tell that this room was much bigger than the one we were just in. When Takano-san raised her lantern, I could clearly see just how big it was. Wow. The far side of the wall, there was a statue of some kind of god staring down at us intruders. The way it was lit by the lantern gave it a powerful appearance, and it scared me. That's the guardian god of Hinamizawa, a Yashida-sama. Looked up at the statue, which was holding its religious ornaments. Sachi-kun's disappearance really was a curse. I couldn't forgive this god. I found myself irritated by the way the statue looked down at me. Damn you, Yashida-sama. If you really made Satoshi-kun disappear, I'll never forgive you. Never. Keiichi didn't seem to understand the significance of the storehouse. He looked bored. Takano-san noticed that and took out her scrapbooks to show him the brutal history of ancient Hinamizawa. I'd heard that story already, so I decided to walk around by myself. As I knew the significance of all these tools, I felt a little nauseated. Though they certainly wouldn't jump out to me, I still found them intimidating. It looked as if they were craving for fresh blood after having not been used for hundreds of years. All the tools looked similar to the ones I saw in the underground torture room at the Sonozaki main house. Those tools were the progenies, right? Of torture implements. These would be their ancestors. All the implements here looked old. I doubted they could really be used. They weren't kept maintained like the ones at the Sonozaki house. So, did that mean they shouldn't scare me? No, on the contrary. It told me that cruel rituals were indeed performed in this village at one point. Now that, I found scary. What Takano told me was the truth. When I stopped, Satoshi-kun also stopped behind me one step later. Felt no emotional change in Satoshi-kun. Couldn't tell if he was feeling something or not. Knew he was there, but I had no idea how he was feeling. Felt scared of him for the first time. If he could answer me, I'd want to ask him, who demoned you away? Are you listening? Satoshi-kun? Couldn't tell if he heard me or not. He left, as if he didn't hear anything. Could tell that he'd been sulky ever since we got here. I suddenly felt lonely, so I looked for him while walking around. Looking for a freaking presence. Not even a ghost, just a presence. Realized then that there was an altar in front of the statue. It might be there. It was a clean altar. An altar ornamented with religious artifacts. It was kept well maintained. I saw no dust. That would mean, well, flowers in the vase weren't wilting. Saw a pretty handkerchief under the vase. Looked out of place amongst everything else. I was fairly certain it was Rika Furude's handkerchief. That would mean that this storehouse was maintained daily. It wasn't a forgotten ruin buried in dust. So, the brutality that dwelled in this ritual storehouse is still alive and well in Hinamizawa. That's right. Something as ambiguous as Oyashida-sama's curse is nothing more than a simple delusion of the villagers. Sakano-san said, everything that happens in this world is done by humans. I'd accused Oyashida-sama of demoning away Satoshi-kun. But Yashida-sama is just a statue made of bronze or wood. It's nothing but an icon. There are, however, human beings who would try to make that icon seem real. A series of mysterious deaths in Hinamizawa is the result of human action. It shouldn't be called a Yashida-sama's curse. Satoshi-kun was the fourth year's victim, and he was victimized by a human being who was just acting on part of the curse. The person who demoned away Satoshi-kun must not be very far from me. The truth behind Satoshi-kun's disappearance was not so far from my grasp. Thump. I was startled by the sound. It sounded like someone had dropped something. I looked over at Takano-san and Keiichi. Takano-san was still lecturing him. Did she drop her scrapbook or something? Thump, thump, thump. The sound came from right behind me, not from them. Never heard Satoshi-kun do that. Just immediately thinks it's Satoshi-kun. I've never heard him bang like that. Oh. Sounded like somebody was stomping on the floor in frustration. What is it? Is just she hearing this? I don't remember. Did Keiichi hear this as well? I can't remember. Sound continued, ignoring my question. But I heard it right nearby. It sounded as though his child was hopping on a wooden floor somewhere distant. What's wrong, Satoshi-kun? Are you angry about something? Couldn't read his expressions. I thought he was mad, but I didn't sense any emotion from him at all. Was he mad I touched the altar? Maybe you weren't supposed to do that. Thump, thump, thump. It's not that I've been able to communicate with Satoshi-kun in a concrete way. I just talked to him. I was never expecting him to react like that. I didn't sense a willingness to communicate from this creepy sound. Then a chill ran up my spine. Felt as if my pores were opening. But in thinking that it was Satoshi-kun stomping on the floor. Hey, you. You're Satoshi-kun, aren't you? Sound stopped when I asked that. It wasn't a yes or a no, just silence. Satoshi-kun wouldn't scare me like that. I realized suddenly that this sound hadn't come from Satoshi-kun. Cold shivers shot through my feet, and I sprung a step backward. It sounded to come from right there. Even though I jumped back, it was still just a few meters away. Satoshi-kun would sometimes let me hear his footsteps when I walked. But if that wasn't Satoshi-kun, then there was no guarantee I'd hear its footsteps. So that invisible being could already be right in front of my eyes. And I just wouldn't see it. Forgot everything and ran. Straining my ears as much as possible for any sound. Listening for any footsteps pursuing me. I ran right into Keiichi and clung to him, timidly turning back to look. The dimly lit area before the altar was quiet, like nothing was happening. But seeing that chilling dark stillness, realizing I was just in that space, made me even more frightened now. What's up, Shion? Did you get scared? Keiichi made fun of me. Even though he looked horrified just a little while ago, he now looked satisfied to see me scared too. I know girls tend to get freaked out by haunted houses. Well, I don't mind it. Anyway, let's go. Before Takano-san leaves us behind. I pretended to be fine, but I wasn't sure if I was able to hide my fear entirely. Footsteps were chasing me. They were outside the illumination of the lantern, as if they couldn't go into that light. Presence never left us, however. It followed us like a fourth member of the party. Sometimes it made a stomping sound as if wanting some recognition, but neither Takano-san nor Keiichi seemed to notice it. It's possible for Takano-san to be ignoring it, but Keiichi would never ignore it. If he could hear it, he would have said something. So, just like with Satoshi-kun, only I could hear it. What was this thing that was making me so scared? Was it Satoshi-kun in a bad mood? Was it possible that the presence I believed to be Satoshi-kun might not have been him at all? Thump. Thump. What are you upset about, Satoshi-kun? Tell me if I did something wrong. I'll apologize. Thump. 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 Oh god. It's because she entered the storehouse. Like, we all know this. She was already being followed by the presence. By, I guess so, Yashida-sama, so. If you aren't Satoshi-kun, then where did he go? When did you take his place? Thump. 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 That's the thing, it was never Satoshi-kun. And she's just crazy. Shion, are you alright? Huh? I'm fine. You look pale, though. Then I'd appreciate it if you didn't stretch my clothes too much. Oh, sorry. Oh, am I interrupting you two? I decided to engage in the conversation to help myself ignore the sound from behind. I didn't hear the sound as much, and it became a bit more distant. Yeah, I shouldn't pay attention to it. It wouldn't bother me if I didn't hear it. I should just ignore the noise. Takano-san, you're researching whether those customs survived into the present. You are, right? Thump. Thump. What I'm about to tell you is a secret, alright? I told you, Shion-chan, because you're an understanding person. But the other villagers don't want to hear it. Things go awry. I could be ganged up on and punished. She smiled at me like a witch. Thump. Thump. My Bar-kun, you keep it secret too, okay? If this gets out, I could suffer Yashida-sama's curse or be made into a sacrifice. If it's the curse, then I wonder what kind of death it'll be this year. For the sacrifice, then will I be thrown to the Onigavachi swamp while still alive? And it is tonight, you know. The night of Yashida-sama's curse. Certainly is. The curse strikes for a 5th time. It'll happen tonight. Thump, thump, thump. Takano-san pulled out an old scrapbook from her paper bag and started turning the pages. She opened it to the page with that one article. It was the article about the brutal murder of Watsunagashi victim. It happened in the Meiji era. This is a story that actually happened. It was around the end of the Meiji era. They discovered an unknown mangled corpse, the victim of a murder, in Onigavachi village. Thump, 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 thump. Never before had there been a corpse treated with such cruelty and inhumanity. Thump, 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 thump. Dude, I think it becomes unable to ignore after a certain point. Hey, you guys seriously don't hear that? It's freaking loud. How can you not hear it? Hell, it's freaking noisy. Got it out already. And that next moment, we all heard a squeaking noise. We all turned around in surprise. Tomitake! It was just Tomitake opening the door. Did I startle you? Yes, you actually did. Oh, Jiro-san, could you not resist seeing inside? This is a splendid treasure trove of torture devices. I'll pass on that. I'm bad with this sort of thing by nature. Takano-san laughed as if making fun of Tomitake-san for being such a scaredy cat. In any case, the dance and ceremony are over and everybody's going down to the river. The festival as a whole will be over within minutes. Time was up. I never expected that Tomitake-san would save me from this nightmare. His face suddenly looked heroic. Oh? Keiji-kun, are you leaving too? I've seen enough. Shion, you're good too, right? Let's get out of here. Want some fresh air. I agree. Let's leave. Went to the entry room and turned around. Takano-san was taking photos in a mad rush, though our time was up. I didn't hear that sound anymore. I didn't feel that presence. I didn't feel Satoshi-kun either. But somehow, I wasn't too sad about that. Even if he followed me out here, I wouldn't be able to tell if it was really him or somebody else. That's true. No one will hecking know if it was actually him or not. Also, let me freaking blow my nose. God, allergies. Yeah, allergies. Mike, we're good. But yeah, that's the end of that quote-unquote chapter thingamajig section. And the achievement was called Defilers. Yeah, that's true. That is what we did. We defiled. Alright. Oh my gosh, we got 3 more. Oh my gosh. Page 179. How can someone write so much? Well, I guess if you're dedicated. Right. Page 172. The underground torture room is officially called the Underground Ritual Storehouse. So, do torture room and ritual storehouse mean the same thing? According to Takano-san's theory, bloody rituals, including Watsunagashi, have been passed down among the three families even after the Meiji era. Rituals were always ready to be performed. Their form of worship always revolved around torture. So Hinamizawa's history involved a great deal of human slaughter. Takano-san's theory is correct. The underground storehouse at the Sonozaki house looked well maintained. Takano-san is right about that, too. Since the Sonozaki family and the Furude family both have ritual storehouses, the Kimiyoshi family must have one, too. After all, these ancient and brutal customs are still handed down through the generations. Bye-bye, East. Yeah, we're just doing tips, so it's not like it's crucially important, right? Bye-bye. I should have remained armed with the knowledge that occult events are still secretly being performed in this cursed village. True. True. 173. The sanctity of the ritual storehouse is one of the most prominent elements in the worship of Uyashido-sama. Of course, I knew that, since I'm originally from Hinamizawa. But violating that sanctity is actually a more serious problem than I thought. Takano-san's research shows that the history of the ritual storehouse goes way back. The ritual implements within have long been viewed as inviolable objects, which is why it was strictly forbidden to enter. Takano-san's theory says that Watsunagashi was once a public execution, performed to stabilize the reign of the three families, rather than a purely religious ritual. If so, the ritual should hardly be called sacred. Under those circumstances, the implements should have been despised as symbols of hatred, not fear. When instruments of fear are too visible, it only creates a reign of terror. But keep them as hidden as possible, and they gain divinity. Many said they would become tainted if the layman touched them. The only reason for that was to preserve their false prestige through secrecy, since they would lose their sanctity if revealed before the common folk. In other words, the true identity of the ritual storehouse sacredness was fear. That was the true emotion ruling over this village. True! Fear rules all, doesn't it? 179. So these are all one after another almost. The reason why Takano-san and Tomitaki-san were cursed is because they broke into the ritual storehouse. I don't know how the villagers found out about it. Maybe somebody was watching. Maybe there was an anti-theft alarm. Either way, our intrusion must have been reported to the highest level of the curse system. It's because, considering the distance between the village and the site where Takano's body was found, he must have been killed right after we came out of the ritual storehouse. It was done very quickly. It's possible that a special assassination team exists for this purpose, or that the plan had been set up a long time ago. So, yeah, Takano-san died. Might have been secret agents of the Sonozaki family, but the latter sounds more valid. But if so, who would have been the victim if nobody broke into the ritual storehouse? Probably still them. Most likely, in all actuality, still them. But yeah, we're gonna end it there for today. Thank you guys for joining me. It's been a fun journey. Continuing next Tuesday at whatever the heck time it is today for you. Yep, that's it. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.